Hey guys, it's Looch. Surprise! I'm still on my obsession of 1970s punk rock, but the cool twist about this documentary is that it's about a Midwestern band from Ohio, the Dead Boys, and more specifically, Stiv Bators. It's directed by Danny Garcia, and he also did a documentary about Johnny Thunders called Looking for Johnny. And it's just very cool to see a documentary that's talking about this birth of punk rock in New York, but with accents like some cashier at Cub Foods would be using. So Stiv Bators was the leader of the Dead Boys, he along with Cheetah Chrome. And he certainly borrowed an awful lot from Iggy in terms of stage craziness. He was unhinged on stage. He would hang himself with the mic cord and a lot of self-destruction stuff. And they got their start playing in CBGBs. Who didn't? But one side note that's interesting is that owner Hilly Kristal decided of all of those bands that came through CBs, the one horse he was going to back was the Dead Boys, literally taking his life savings, which he kept in his refrigerator, and putting it towards the Dead Boys recording and touring. And now in retrospect, you might think he should have maybe backed the wrong horse. He might have invested in Talking Heads or Blondie, but he believed in the Dead Boys that they had something different, and they did. They're from Ohio, but the sensibility, you see a bit of Sex Pistols, certainly you see the Iggy, you see a lot of that influence, and they didn't have huge hits. I mean, Sonic Reducer is probably the most known song of theirs, but it traces Stiv's life, short life. He was known for sort of practical jokes. I mean, he wasn't just cutting himself with a bottle, so he was also known on tour to car surf. So they'd go, "Where's Stiv?" and then like hear feet on the roof, and he'd be up there on the van, and that was his thing. In fact, that's the perfect photograph for the cover of the DVD of Stiv. It's actually called No Compromise, No Regrets, and I believe that 100%. The thing about the band is that, you know, he did go on after the Dead Boys disbanded. He did go on and form the Lords of the New Church. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but it was sort of the very beginning of Goth, and it was interesting to see him sort of take that punk thing and put it into a more gothy thing. It's interesting, a slice of history from that time that I'm obviously completely obsessed about. And Cheetah Chrome, who was maybe also well known as the guitar player for the Dead Boys, he declined to be a part of this documentary. He said, "I could talk about Stiv for days, but not to promote somebody's movie." And that's punk rock. Stiv, No Compromise, No Regrets. DVD is available for purchase on Amazon, and you can also stream on Amazon Prime. That starts August 27th. And you can also find it on iTunes for rental or purchase.